My name is Dennis Lopez. I am a resident of Alamosa in Alamosa County here in Colorado. I was born and raised in a small community about 20 miles from Alamosa, town of Capulin, which is in Conejos County here in Colorado. I was raised in a Hispanic community because the majority of people in Capulin are Hispanic. And we were raised with the traditions that were handed down from our forefathers. I am a seventh generation descendant of the original settler or person to try and come in and settle the Conejos land grant. So I grew up in this community of Capulin, but not within the community. My grandfather owned property up the river, up the Alamosa River, about 5 miles from town. He had cattle, was livestock that he raised. And the house that my grandfather had was up on the far bank of the southern bank of the Alamosa River. But for us, in order to get water, we had to go down to the river with buckets and with milk canisters and literally haul the water up out of the river with a bucket, fill up the milk canisters, put them in the back of the truck, and then drive back home. In the winter, we had to go down daily, every day, to the river with an axe, cut a hole in the ice in order to get the water to take it back home. So that was the thing about water, is that it was very precious because you could only haul so many milk cans of water back home. So water was rationed very carefully. And because the only way to heat water would be the wood burning stove, water would have to be heated on the wood burning stove. And again, that was rationed very carefully because it wasn't just open a tap. In the summer, using the acequias, my grandfather would grow beans, which were for sale. He would grow a large field of beans, and then he would grow a family garden by the house. And then on the river bottom, he would grow potatoes. And so, being that water had to be used on three different kinds of fields, he had to ration because when he got his shares in order to irrigate his crops, he had to make sure that each field got enough water to sustain what was being planted. So the whole concept of water as a family, through the instructions in the uh, leadership of my grandfather, was really expressing how important water was in order for life to be sustained. In 1957, my father decided that his father was getting older in age as well. So we moved closer to town. There was a well already dug. So we had uh, water in the house, which was a big change. We could then have all the water we wanted and had a water heater using propane gas. So it was a tremendous change in how we handled water. We didn't have the large fields in order to grow potatoes and beans and all those things. There was enough property to grow a garden, family garden. And so that was my mother. She was such a green thumb. She could raise any kind of vegetable, but she also had these amazing flower gardens in our yard. And she literally would measure how much water her crops are getting. So I learned all those things from my family, how water was key. I've done that my life, even now that I'm married. Um, we have a garden here at home. My family, my kids all help with the watering and the weeding and the harvesting and all those kinds of things. I'm glad that's a tradition in our family and that my kids know and understand the use of water, the importance of water, and that they can then pass it on to their families.